I have been doing the developer Q&A videos for quite some time now, pretty much as long as the weekly developer Q&A has been a thing, and a lot of you folks quite liked last week's style of listening to my slow descent into madness. So once again, I am not reading the dev Q&A ahead of time. I've got it on screen here, but basically what you're listening to is my live reaction to reading it. I've been out playing golf with a friend of mine this morning, brilliant relaxing morning, so I'm about to ruin what has started off as a really nice day, I'm sure. That said, I am going to go into this as unbiased as possible. I'm actually going to be looking for the positives in this, because there was another alert put out this morning to do with Plex prices that will be a video releasing first thing tomorrow morning. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, ding the notification bell so that you don't miss that one. If I put two videos out side by side, then one of them tends to get missed, and if I put them into this one video, well, that's just a really long video. So do stay tuned. There is another bonus video coming early tomorrow morning. Obviously, if you're watching this and it's not Friday night, then it's probably already out. But hey, let's jump straight in. Developer Q&A for the 21st to the 27th of February 2023, going into the third year of Eve Echoes at this point. Let's see what they say. Our first question then. I really liked the ship rental program. I think that renting out your ships for a set amount of time could be a good way to help newer players earn rewards and ISK faster. No. Especially if they're not online all the time. Newer players could rent their starting ships to NPCs, which then could earn items such as ship blueprints and modules. No. Thank you so much for your support and advice on Eve Echoes, says Melos. Now, Melos is one of the devs who I do have a lot of time for. I've had some brilliant conversations with him, and for the most part, he does tend to have some really cool ideas that often seem to be sort of subverted and implemented in just the most horrific ways possible. But hey, let's not get that in here. We will bring the ship rental program back in other events in the future. More confirmation that future events are going to be copy-pasted. However, we believe that the acquisition of different items in the game needs to be strictly controlled. This is to ensure the stability of the game's economic system. Therefore, we are afraid we could not give you what you ask for. Good. This is genuinely something that NetEase and I agree on, and here's why. First of all, the concept that the ship rental system would be good for new players, bad concept. Most new players are running around in very basic ships and looking to do everything they can to get enough ISK to be in something useful. That means a lot of new players are going to sell those ships early on or just completely forget about them. A ship rental project does nothing for new players, or at least incredibly little. It's a bit of extra ISK on the side, which again does nothing, because when you've got no content you can meaningfully do and all the stuff you're looking at is 10 months away, then it doesn't matter how much ISK you have, because you can't fly any of the fun ships anyway. You can't access any of the fun content anyway. You could be a Tech 7 player and be sitting on 10 billion ISK. And tell me, what the hell are you going to do with it? Yeah, there's nothing you can do with it, is there? That's my exact point here. I agree, yes, we need something for beginners, but Ship Rental Project is not it. What we need for new players is meaningful low-tier content. So, for example, revamping the PvE news encounter system so that they're not all fly to A, kill everything, come back and claim your reward. Having some of the interesting ones like you see in EVE Online. I did a mission last night in EVE Online where I was sent to go and get a CEO's daughter back from some pirates. I flew out there, I blew up the pirates, although actually I didn't have to. All I had to do was rescue the daughter. The pirates are purely secondary, and if you want to do it that little bit faster, you can ignore them completely. Rush in, grab, rush out. Really cool concept, right? You know, not just kill everything. What made this hilarious, though, was I destroyed the structure that the CEO's daughter is supposedly in, and I rescued the janitor as well. I now have a janitor sitting in my hangar in EVE Online, of course, because why wouldn't you? I'm just glad the guy made it out. We got the daughter, sent her home. There are missions in EVE Online where it's like, oh, the pirate's out here, the big pirate captain. I need you to go out and fly out there and hold him in position with weatherfires and scrams until Concord can arrive. You're not allowed to kill him. You can kill anyone else you like, but you don't even have to. You could go out in an interceptor that has no guns, and as long as you hold the person in position long enough for Concord to arrive, mission complete. Really, really cool concept. Missions that are something a little bit different than fly to A, kill everything, and fly home again afterwards. That would be a good start for new players. Secondarily for new players, and probably the biggest thing, is get rid of the tech system. The tech system is the single most damaging thing in EVE Echoes right now, because it simply means that you as a new player, you want to fly certain ships, oh, they're Tech 9, they're Tech 10, congratulations, you've got to pay a monthly subscription and wait an arbitrary 10-month period before you can do the stuff you want to do. In EVE Online, again, I know this isn't EVE Online, I'm just looking at a blueprint that freaking works and explaining how it works there. If you look at EVE Online and say, okay, I want to do battleship content, then you can go straight for battleships. As an alpha player, you can literally skill, for example, go into Caldari Frigate 3, Caldari Destroyer 3, Caldari Cruiser 3, Caldari Battle Cruiser 3, and immediately hit into Caldari Battleship. You can start training cruise missile skills. You can start training all the stuff that is relevant for the ship you want from day one. You don't have to train a load of bat-crazy stuff like frigates and destroyers and cruisers and going deep into those skills, only to have to wait until tech level 9 before you can start training the battleship skills that you actually want, or whatever freaking tech level large missile systems and that are now. The point is, you can start being relevant from day one in EVE Online. In EVE Echoes, you have to wait 10 months. 10 months that you are also being asked to pay a monthly subscription for. Tell me who is going to go for that sell. Like, you know, hey guys, I found this really cool game. Let's download it and give it a try. Oh, cool. There's some really interesting stuff that this game has, but it wants me to pay $15 a month for 10 months. Then it will give me access to that in 10 months' time. Tell me, who is going to do that? No one. So the tech level system needs to freaking go yesterday. Having Nihilist compressed spaces actually doing something. Having mining being completely reworked and industry being in a situation where newer players actually have stuff they can do competitively would be awesome. Abyssal dead spaces as they exist in EVE Online. Incredible. You can be doing those on day one and be having fun with them and making decent amounts of ISK. And then as you go up the skill trees and start skilling into more stuff, you can start doing like harder versions of those and earning more ISK. That's a really novel concept, right? Being able to do something on day one that you can just continue doing for years. What about exploration? All things that we should have and are half-baked systems that were just plugged into the game and then forgotten about. All stuff that could really help beginners. None of it being touched. That's what needs to happen. Ship rental program, by the way, to try and drag this one kicking and screaming back onto topic, the ship rental program is actually something I do quite like in EVE Echoes. I think it is a nice little bit of side ISK, but it doesn't do anything for new players at all. In fact, it heavily favors existing players who have a large hangar full of random crap that they don't use because the tech system makes most of it irrelevant. Like, why am I undocking a Tornado 1 when I have a Tornado 3? You know what I'm saying? Moving on then to question number 2. Add the ability to buy Dark Halo nanocores for battle cruisers, particularly for the Hurricane. Oh, a man after my own heart. Or woman, I don't judge. Could be either. Could be anyone. No, non-binary other. Who knows? Dark Halo for Hurricane. Yes, please. That would be incredible. Again, it doesn't help with any of the game's actual problems. But hey, if you throw something Hurricane-shaped at me for the time being, kind of go, there you go, it's going to make me happy for a couple of days at the very least. And right now, a couple of days of happiness in EVE Echoes is something that I will take gladly. Anyway, what does Melos say? We will take your suggestion into consideration and will continue to open up the purchase of Dark Halo nanocores. We don't have the Hurricane core yet, but we will have cores from other series for the Hurricane that you could choose from. I want a Dark Halo for my Hurricane. Please, can I have a Dark Halo for my Hurricane? It looks amazing color scheme wise anyway, but beyond that, it's got some really nice bonuses that suit the Hurricane well. Yeah, I would love to see them go back over some of the old nanocores and add new ships to them at this point. And I know in the past I've argued that nanocores should be narrow and specific, but clearly they're not going to do that, so they may as well just open them up to everything, right? That's one way of balancing. If everyone has equal access to something, then you can kind of help balance the game that way, and I think that would be an interesting way of doing it. Ultimately, I'm still not a big fan of nanocores. I've not been a fan of nanocores since they first launched because that was the first little taster of the pay-to-win system coming along. What's that? You can get upgrades to your stats on your ship as long as you're willing to pay money for it. Awesome! Yeah, that's a pay-to-win system. That said, Dark Halo nanocores, yeah, I'd be really cool with one of those on the Hurricane. If you're going to have these kind of systems in the game, they need to be available to pretty much everyone. And I think, honestly, every ship in the game should have access to every nanocore right about now, because that's one way that we can balance it. Heck, give me a Dark Halo for the Rifter, you cowards. Question number 3 then. Will you be introducing faction strip miners anytime soon? How many many times are we going to ask this question? Do people read the dev Q&As that they ask the questions for, or do they just keep throwing the same things against the wall and hoping that something sticks? Fraction strip miners is a question that has been asked in dev Q&As, honestly, by my count, at least 6 times at this point, and answered, which means the developers are wasting precious answering time answering the same damn question over and over again because some numbskull is too thick to go through and read through the back history. If this is your question, I'm sorry. Obviously, you might be a new player and you're just kind of looking at this and kind of saying, oh, hey, Benzie, that's really, really harsh. I know, it's harsh. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be aggressive. Just, you've got to understand these dev Q&As these days do genuinely taking a mental toll out of me, and having to go over the same topics and same questions repeatedly, especially this particular one, does get a little bit tiring on the back end of my mental health. So, let's try and treat this one fairly. Faction strip miners, are they coming anytime soon for mining ships due to the fact that they've been on the market but not buyable for a long time? Good. I hope these never get added. Because right now, the biggest problem with mining, like crikey, how many times do I have to say this, is that we have infinite supply and nowhere near enough demand. And the funny thing about infinite supply is you can never have enough demand. Because infinite, like, you understand what the word infinite means, right? As long as we have mining belts that infinitely respawn, as long as we have ores raining out of the sky, and ridiculous scrap metal reprocessing and crap like that that causes those minerals just to shower onto anyone and everyone who just dreams for them. When it comes down to it, that is one of the biggest problems we have with mining right now as a form of career. There's no point in trying to sell any of your ores. The only thing that you have to do is collect a crap ton of ores to build the stuff you want, and then you're kind of done with it, right? Ultimately, we need to slow mining down. We need to retool all of the blueprints to use more ore. Like, it's half the amount of ISK that they use, or in some cases, quarter the amount of ISK they use. Some of the ship blueprints out there are just insane in the amount of ISK that they use. They shouldn't be using ISK, they should be consuming ores. Simple as that. If you are a miner and you think that having more ores is going to help you, you are sadly mistaken, and I mean that in the nicest way. Adding more ores to your personal collection means every other miner in the game is also adding more ores to their collection, which means there is more supply, and without any increase in demand, that causes the ores to be worthless. That is a big part of why insurance is such a problem. Insurance is not the problem in the game. Like, genuinely, if you took insurance out, you would break other things, you would stop people doing a lot of stuff that they do, and you wouldn't fix industry. You need to fix industry, and then that fixes insurance as well. Right now, because we have ores being worth practically nothing on the market, and that's where insurance gets its estimated prices from, it means the buy orders that it does kick out are worth nothing. You see how that works? Ultimately, excuse me, goodness gracious me, my throat is like railing against these questions now. Ultimately, it sounds counterintuitive, but crikey, you're just going to have to trust me on this one, because goodness gracious, I'm done arguing this. I'm done arguing this with people go, oh no, I need more ores. Yes, but if you get more ores, everyone else gets more ores, and it... You need to slow down the supply. You need to actually limit the supply. Make it like EVE Online, double the size of all the mining belts in the game, but then have them on a respawn timer that they only come back during like a 24-hour period later. Like the daily maintenance it is on EVE Online is when all of the belts respawn. And ultimately, you'll find that very few people actually run out of belts, but some do, and then they have to move into other systems and mine those, and that adds a little bit of time and danger to things, right? Which helps with industry. It's also just limiting the supply so that any ore sink is dealing with a limited supply. Limited supply and a sturdy sink means that things are constantly in demand, which means the prices are there. Then you've just got to take the ISK prices down on the blueprints to compensate, and huzzah, that is a mad fixed industry. It's not completely fixed by any stretch. There's a lot of other problems that are going on there, but it's a good step. That is a solid first step. That does so much for industry. No, I hope we never get faction strip miners at this point in time. I'm already seeing, and a load of people are doing the same thing of like, oh, they added the mining implant core. Now I'm getting all the ores I need, but suddenly I've got nothing to do with those ores. It's because other people had access to the same thing and they've done it better and faster. You've got to understand, when you add something to the game, it gets added for everyone, and there are always going to be people who are better and faster. And when it is a constant arms race, then the people at the top go up faster, they accelerate, whereas the people at the bottom just get left behind. It is time the industry, or mining at least, was slowed right the hell down. Get rid of that mining implant, get rid of the mining speed upgrades, neuter everything right the way back, rework the blueprints, and hopefully we can start getting mining back on track. The arms race approach has screwed mining. It's as simple as that. Question number 4 then. We're nearly done. It'll be great if we could know which nanocores we'll be getting in the next Concord pass, maybe a few days before the new pass. It'll help people to decide whether to buy the current nanocore in the pass or wait a few days for the next one. This isn't going to happen. This isn't going to happen. I'll explain why. Let's see what Melos says. We'll see if we can announce the item updates to the Concord Pass shop in advance in the future so that pilots can better arrange their purchases. They're not going to. They will not do this because FOMO is a thing. They want you to spend a load to get the stuff you want right now, and then in a day's time go, oh crap, the new one's even better. They want you to be constantly buying new stuff. They want you to be constantly working towards new stuff. Announcing stuff means that you can hold off on a purchase. They don't want you to hold off on stuff, whether that's actual real money purchases or whether it's spending your Concord points. What they want you to do is to go, oh, the next core might not be as good. This one's pretty good. Let me get this one. And so you buy that core, and then the next one comes along and you go, oh, damn, I wish I hadn't bought that now. Yeah, I need to save up for the new one. Okay, let me buy the Concord Pass that gets me 20 free levels just so I can rush that a little bit. Heck, I can even buy some levels with Plagues. Let's do that and push up my Concord Pass so I can get the new nanocore quickly. And oh no, I've now got, a nanocore that I've leveled up to level 3, for example, in this month's core, in this month's pass. I'm now going to get a new nanocore that's even better for me and more exciting. I'm going to pay to get more of the materials to upgrade this one. They want you to be constantly upgrading nanocores, to be swapping your nanocores to new ones. Mark my words, we're getting gold nanocores soon. They are going to be coming along. Basically, they're going to be better than every single one of the purple ones that you've been spending all of that time and money leveling up. So you're going to have to buy a new gold nanocore, and you're going to spend a lot more time and money leveling that up. And then they'll start changing those and adding new exciting variants of them to keep you spending, because that's what NetEase does now. That is how the game is. They have added a system that incentivizes you to get it maxed as quickly as possible, and then they figured out that, having done that, here's the new exciting thing. Why don't you spend the load to max that one out as well? I'm trying to be positive. I'm really trying to be positive here. I promise you. I know a lot of people are saying to me, Benzie, like, it sounds like you're in pain when you're doing these videos now. I am, because this game means so much to me. There is so much going on in EVE Echoes that I think is fantastic. Like, look, I'm playing a load of EVE Online right now, and there are genuinely things from Echoes that I miss. There are things that I think Echoes does better than EVE Online. Unfortunately, they're kind of like the... I don't even know how to put this politely. There isn't really a nice polite way. They're just the few good things in an otherwise horrific situation. Like, I would rather have a game that is solid overall and has, there are some things that could be improved, rather than a game that is just actively aggressive to its player base and has a couple of good ideas to it. Like, there are some things in EVE Echoes I genuinely think would be really good in EVE Online. I like the way that, like, cosmic anomalies work, that it's clear to see that, that's a Tech 10 medium Guristus anomaly. I know the ship's in that. I know the kind of content that my ship can do. I don't have to Google whether or not I can do this Serpentis hybrid gas, whatever it's called. These different names that they have. Okay, it's cool, it's flavorful, but you have to memorize a lot of stuff, and I kind of miss how Echoes does that. For example, one of the ones off the top of my head, I love Echoes. I love you, the community. I think that this game has so much potential. Still has so much potential. It's just being run for financial benefit at the moment rather than the player base. It's a game for money rather than a game for the players. And all games, of course, are to make money. This is an industry, after all. I've got no problem with monetization in a game. It's when the monetization is unfair to the players and it's exploitative of the players that I have an issue. I've had people sit there and message me recently saying, Benzie, you're being so unkind to the community that supported you for years. No, I'm not. I love this community, and I love you all for the support you've given me over the years in EVE Echoes. And I value you enough to not lie to you and say, oh yeah, it's gonna get better, guys, it's gonna get better. I value you as the community enough to be honest, to say to you, look, this is what's happening, and this is the direction it's going in. And like Avasarala from The Expanse, my favourite line of hers is when someone tries to talk her out of something and she says, one of us is wrong. I think it's you, but I hope it's me. That's me right now. Anytime someone says, oh, it could get better, it's like, yeah, one of us is wrong. I think that you're wrong. I don't think it's going to get better. But I hope it's me that's wrong. I hope it does get better. Because I love this game to pieces. And you, my community, the EVE Echoes community, whatever you want to identify yourself as in regards to a community, you guys have been awesome to me for 3 years now, and that has been incredible. And I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to sit here and say, oh, this game's great. It's not. It's deeply flawed. And it doesn't appear to be getting better. I really hope it does get better, but I just don't see it happening. Because the guys behind the helm, like, don't get me wrong, Melos has some freaking fantastic ideas. He really does. But then they get implemented in the worst possible way because the guys in the suits get a hold of it and decide that the player base doesn't matter, only their bank accounts do. And that's where we're at in Echoes right now. I love this game, I will continue to follow this game, and I will still jump in and play it. I'm still working on a personal project in Echoes right now that I can't really talk about. You've seen me jumping around in some alpha ships and things like this. I'm still in Echoes, and sometimes I'm even having fun there. I'm enjoying EVE Online a lot more right now, and it's great having Catskull over there for, you know, new players to join and old players alike to have fun together. But I miss Echoes. I love this game and I want it to do well. And that just means I need to be honest to you. I'm not here to support the devs anymore. I'm here to support the game and the community. Anyway, folks, that's everything for this week's Developer Q&A. Again, remember, stay tuned. Early tomorrow morning, I will have another video talking about a really worrying development that NetEase have just announced. And I know it's more negativity. I don't want it to be, but again, I would rather inform you of what's going on and talk about this than ignore it, because I can't ignore this anymore. Anyway, folks, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden!